Hello everyone and welcome to the start of my coverage, unless you count the unboxing of course, for Monster Hunter World, the board game by Steamforged Games. We're going to be playing through a campaign here and I've already got it set up for the first hunt that you're told to do, and then after that, whether or not you're mixing in the Wildspire Waste content or not, you're kind of free to go after whatever you want, although you should go after easier monsters first to get gear so you can take on the harder stuff. But we will be hunting the assigned quest for the Great Jagras. If you succeed in an assigned quest, you can't do it again. You have to do a harder version, an investigation or a tempered investigation if you want the hardest possible challenge for a particular monster. And we're going to go through this, but it's not how to play, just to keep that very clear. This is a learning to play as we go. I wouldn't say the rules are that complicated once you get to grips with them, but just getting that out there right away. So we'll quickly go over how a hunter is set up, but the game doesn't actually just go straight into fighting the monster. If you're doing a campaign, you start with the adventure phase, and going forwards, once you've seen what it's like, let me know if you want me to keep on keeping it on camera or skipping ahead to just hunting in future videos, because I can just do it off camera if need be. It's kind of like a choose your own adventure to gather resources. It might affect how much time you have to hunt the monster. It might put you in a worse spot or a better spot, depending on what you discover as you're hunting the monster. But anyway, let's go over what a hunter play area looks like. I am playing this solo. It is recommended you use two hunters to play solo. I'm playing with the Gunlance Hunter and the Bow Hunter. So here's the gist of what a hunter's play area looks like. I don't really need to show you the bow because I don't know if this is the same for every character or if I just happen to pick two characters where this is the case. They both start with identical armor, so there's no point going over that. The only thing that's different is obviously the weapon type, but their damage cards with the associated weapons are also identical, which again might be the same for everyone, I don't know. The Gunlance though provides one extra defense because it has a shield built in. So this is what an area looks like. The Gunlance is special in that it has 5 shelling cards. There's the special rules for how to use them, we'll cover that when we're fighting. I randomly drew a hunter token which has a threat value on it. That's for breaking tie breaks. Right there we have our skill deck because it's all done with cards. This is the board in which we play it, 5 slots like that, and it's very similar to the Devil May Cry games Steamforged did in that regard. These are your damage cards, so you draw those to see how much damage you do, minus the monster's armor if relevant. I'm using these tokens to remind me whether or not I've used my Palico. This is the health dial, they have 8 health, and I think that about covers it honestly. Wrath of Meow we'll talk about when I use it. This is the Gunlancer's Palico. His name is Purple Face. It's a reference to when I played the video game. The bow using hunter has Vigor Wasp Spray, and his Palico is called Dog. Beyond that, you just need a sheet of paper that the game provides to put your information on for stuff you find during adventure mode. We'll take a look at the monster stuff now actually before we do the adventure mode. So here's where I'm keeping everything associated with the monster we're hunting. Ignore the stuff above here, that's just where I'm keeping unused cards, later equipment, unused time cards, because you can make a time deck of 35 for an assigned Great Jagras. That's this deck here. You draw those and do the things it says at the end of a hunter's turn. For the card, assigned Great Jagras, 1 star, 50 HP, that's elemental resistances and status effect resistances, body parts that can be broken, and how much break tokens you need to apply to actually get the break. And some of them actually, let's bring it a bit closer here, some of them have special rules that apply if you get the break. For instance, sever the tail and he just suffers 5 damage, that's 10% of his HP right there. On the back is his drop table, we'll worry about that later. Over here is his AI deck of 10 cards, shuffled already, but depending on what happens in the adventure phase, we collect these tokens randomly. We're looking to get the number as high as possible, and then depending on how well we do, either a easy attack or a bad attack out of these 3 get shuffled into his deck before the fight starts. We'll worry about the anatomy of an AI card once we're actually fighting. Is there anything else I want to cover right now? Time cards we'll cover as we draw them as well. As I say, for the assigned quest you only need 35 of them. You get 45 in the basic deck, and then some nastier ones. Kind of similar to the Resident Evil Tension deck in that regard. So yeah, I think we'll go to what the adventure phase is now, which is trying to find the monster before the hunt begins. So this is the quest book I'm going to be reading from for the assigned Great Jagras. I did forget to point out, this is just the icon, the thing for tracking the monster's health token, because it can have a bunch of health. That won't be sitting there when we're fighting, I just forgot to mention it. So because we're doing the assigned quest, I'll just show you an example here, although it's going to be hard for me to put it in front of the camera. There's the assigned quest right there. Tells you the time limit, 35 time cards. Tells you the scout fly level you're aiming for via what we're about to do right now. And the assigned starting point just means read that section first. So for the assigned quest you read from section 1. For the investigations though, you skip to 2, 3, 4 or 5. I guess you get to pick, I'm not 100% sure on that. But for the assigned quest, we definitely start with entry 1, which makes a whole lot of sense. If starting the adventure here, the group gains 1 potion, it senses immediately. I believe you start with 2, so that would put us at 3, and you can't have any more than 3. If I'm wrong about starting with 2, my apologies. Let's see, the shoreline near the southwest camp basks in the overhead sun, bright light reflecting from the shallow pools where Kestodon and Aptonoth water. Ahead you see the entrance to the ancient forest, formed by an arch of thick boughs, yawning open like a gaping maw. The sound from the world behind you fades away to silence. Should be fades away, really, but never mind. As you step under the rich green canopy, leaving an all too bright sense of calm, soon broken as the scout flies excitedly cluster around a huge footprint in the soil. Follow the scout flies, discard 1 time card, gain 1 track token. So we just discard 1, we don't resolve its effects, we'll talk about them once we actually do them. I'm just going to put that to one side. And then I'm going to pick a scout fly token at random. Let's go for that. We're not going to see what it is until I'm done though. And then what does it say? Then proceed to entry 21. Here we are. You follow a well-used trail, scrapes and gouges in the dirt and along the trees, betraying the monsters that frequently pass through this way. The gnawed bone of a monster picked clean of meat lays discarded to one side. Each hunter gains 1 monster bone medium. I'll write this down in between takes. I'll do a break between each entry so I can make sure I keep track of my inventory. That's important for crafting gear between hunts. So we get 1 medium monster bone no matter what I do. But then I have a choice. Hurry to follow the tracks, which gains 1 track token and goes to a certain entry. Or stop to search for other bones nearby. It's going to cost me 1 time card, but we get quality bone and monster bone small as well. Let me have a quick look at what kind of bones are required. I'm just using this as a reference for crafting better gear. Let's see here. Monster bone small would actually give me a gun lance upgrade. Yeah. Okay, I'm going to do that then. Yep. So we're going to waste a little bit of time. We're going to discard 1 time card. Again, without resolving anything on it, just discard it. That's taking away how much time we actually have to hunt the monster. But in total, 1 monster bone each, 1 quality bone each, 1 small bone each, and then go to section 23. So this is section 23. The trees ahead are far older and have considerably thicker foliage. It would be exhausting to hack through. Alternatively, a trail of ore along the path leads to a large cave opening in the distance. You might search there in hopes of finding your prey's den. So either way, we have to discard 1 time card, no matter what I pick. So there's another card gone. Fair enough. We also gain 1 Carbolite ore and 1 Malachite ore each, so that's fine. So I can either cut my way through the forest or backtrack to the cave entrance. The latter costs 2 time cards. I'm going to hack my way through the forest, so that's going to be to go to entry 12. Alright, entry 12. Lightheaded and breathing heavily, you lean against the bark of the thick tree, your arms ache, numbness creeping through them towards your shoulders. If only there were a way to relieve your parched throat. Either force yourself to go on, which means all hunters suffer 2 damage, or drink a potion from your supplies. I'll drink the one we got given for free. So we'll just jump straight to entry 6 because we don't do anything other than that. We just hack our way through the forest. So entry 6. Just when you're about to lose heart, you come across a pile of great Jagras dung. Oh, lovely. Left in the wake of your prey. It may be a grisly sight, but it fills your heart with hope as you head for a clearing ahead. No time to look back. Discard 1 time card, gain 3 tokens to proceed to entry 18, or wait, listen, is that something behind us? Entry 30. Oh, I am tempted by the is that something behind us, but I'm not going to look ahead. You know what, I'm going to go to entry 30, which means we're not doing anything because it didn't say discard if you pick this option. Nope, it just says go to entry 30. A deafening roar is your only warning as you suddenly find yourself face to face with your prey. Now's the time to fight this terrifying adversary. Reveal your track tokens, check the scout fly level, and begin the hunting phase. We did not get many track tokens, we got 1, which is a 1. So I think we needed 2+, right? So that sucks. Yep, we needed 2+. So because we finished the adventure with equal or fewer than the minimum scout fry level, we have to add forward roll to Great Jagras' behaviour deck, which is probably the nastiest of these. Forward roll. Yeah, it does 8 damage. That's how much health hunters have. So yeah, I'm going to shuffle this in, and we're actually now ready to fight. The layout for the fight was shown when I pointed out the assigned quest, and the monster goes first. I've opted to the Gunlance person is probably going to get hit first, so he's starting down there because he has a shield and 1 better armor. The bow is in the corner here, but yeah, the monster goes first, and then depending on the monster's attack, we can either activate 1 hunter or more actually. I was going to say or up to 2. That's not true. We can actually get up to 3 activations, I think. And then also how many cards we're allowed to play. So the last step of setup, now that I've shuffled these cards, it is also worth pointing out you can actually tell some information about what's going to happen based on the backside of the card. This means it's an attack with his body or tail, I think. I think that's body. That means he's attacking the closest threat, so it's going to be the Gunlance Hunter. And you can kind of use that because when you draw a card, you'll see roughly what he's going to do next, but not precisely what he's going to do next. So get rid of those 2 cards we're not shuffling in. I'll draw 2 hands of 5. We'll go through a turn slowly and then speed up a little bit. So I've just drawn the starting hand for the Gunlance Hunter. So this is an example of what cards look like. You have some special cards. You have your basic attacks, which have a dodge value for if the monster attacks you and you choose to dodge in the top right. Bottom left is your range. Middle is how much damage. Any special rules are also written there. And in the bottom right, it will sometimes tell you how many, I think it's the minimum number of cards that have to be on the board before this can be played, because there's a combo mechanic. Sometimes you get free movement, and for the Gunlance in particular, if it has a shelling icon, you flip that many shelling icons to draw that many additional damage cards. And to get them back, because you only have 5, you have to sharpen. Now in the video game, sharpening and reloading are 2 different things, but that's fine. For this game, they've kind of combined the 2 of them. You also have to sharpen to get cards back into your damage deck that you've already used. If you don't have any cards in your damage deck, your weapon is blunted, you're hitting for 0. So for the bow, we also have to draw our 5 cards, so I've already shuffled these in advance. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Haven't looked at them yet though, because I wanted to be surprised. So we've got charge shot, arc shot, charge sidestep. I think the bow starts out pretty basic, but once you start making bows for monsters, you start swapping in like elemental shots and whatnot. But as said, the monster goes first, so I'll get this repositioned and we'll get started. So, as we are ready to get started, I'll probably not bother showing you the hunter boards. You've seen them, you know they can have 5 cards on them. As part of ending a turn, you take away the rightmost, as in the most recently played card. You can sharpen to fully clear your board, that kind of thing. I'll show you the cards being played, but I don't think I constantly need to pan down to show you I'm putting them on the board. The other thing I forgot to mention, lose states for a hunt. If you run out of time, you fail, have to try again. If you cart or faint, as in you reach 0 HP, 3 times, that's also a fail. And we'll be using those for every hunt we do. However, the game does come with rules for tracking number of days it takes you across a campaign of hunting numerous monsters. The end goal is to hunt a 4-star monster before you run out of time. We're not going to follow that. Monster Hunter games don't have time limits as far as like the whole campaign goes. So I'm not going to be doing that. I'm going to be hunting whatever I feel like, whenever I feel like. And that's really the only house rule we're applying here. So, the Great Jagras. He has 4 arcs. He is facing the Gunlance Hunter. The Gunlance Hunter is his closest threat, and he will be attacking him with a forward roll. So this is actually kind of lucky. So the way a monster card works, let's bring it a bit closer first. So, this is the range, so it's 1 node around him. This is how many arcs the attack happens from, so it's his top, left, right, not his back. So if we were behind him when he did this, even if we were within range 1, it would do nothing. How much damage it does, that would be a 1-shot if it actually did full damage. How hard it is to dodge, so you would need to play up to 3 to then move that many squares out of range. It also does stun. And then after he does all this, he moves away from his target 1. And then these icons over here is how many hunters can have a turn and how many cards they're allowed to play within that turn. So actually we got lucky that he's starting with forward roll, because he does it, he just kind of rolls on the spot like he does in the game, hits no one because we're not in range, but then he backs off by 1 and then he ends his turn. So we then move on. If I just double check I'm doing this right, it's pretty simple on the quick references in the back, as I said. Hunting phase. The monster takes a turn, hunters take their turn. Continue until the monster is slain or the hunters fail the quest. That is very bare bones as a description. For the record, it doesn't talk about time cards or anything like that. It's not a true quick reference. I would say you should have the rulebook open. So I get to activate 3 hunters, but when you activate a hunter, the time card you draw after they activate will instruct you to flip their token. So I couldn't activate, I'm going to activate the bow hunter first. I couldn't activate them twice in a row because I'm going to have their token flipped and the gun lancer hunter's token will not be flipped. So that's the way to try and make sure everybody has a turn. But I could do bow, gun lance, bow, or I could do bow, gun lance if I wanted to. But I'm going with bow first because the bow cards all have range. Range 3 on this one, for instance, range 2 on the basic shots, etc, etc. Also, during a hunter's turn, they're allowed to move 1 step for free, but otherwise you'd have to pay some cards, and that they go face down on your board. Incidentally, these are just bushes. The monsters ignore these. They do nothing for the monster. If a hunter is in them, it lowers their threat value, which might matter for tiebreakers. So the bow hunter is going to do the free movement to there, which puts them 1, 2, 3 away from the Great Jagras, and we're going to potentially just open up with the charge shot. Although if you are within range 1, you draw extra damage cards, which might be nice. Well, you know what? We'll play our first card. We'll start with a charged sidestep. It's when you charge the bow in the video game. So that goes down in the first slot of the board. I get to move 1. I'm going to move into the bush, right there. Draw +1 damage for the next attack card you play this turn, which inflicts, or the next attack you play that inflicts damage. I will do just that. Since we get to play 3 cards in total, you do probably want to keep some to potentially dodge. I'll play a second card. I'll play just a basic shot. It's only got range 2, but now I am 2 nodes away. So for that you would normally just draw 1 damage card, but because of the charge sidestep I draw 2. So there's 1. That's actually very lucky. There's only 4 of them in the starting damage deck. So she is hitting, because I'm directly in line with that line, I can choose to hit the front arc or the right arc. And this is where the monster card comes in. I'm going to have to come around the other side of the camera here to check where armor is. The head has no armor, the tail has 1 armor, the claws, which are either side of him, have 0 armor. So it doesn't really matter, because he's not doing break damage, so it doesn't matter where I hit. So that's 4 damage, just like that. That's 4 damage to the head, or wherever, because it doesn't do break damage, it doesn't matter. Those are discarded until you sharpen, even though bows don't sharpen in the game, but whatever. So I'm allowed to play 1 more card, and I'm going to play the charge shot. So it's range 3. If your hunter is within 1, sadly not, but it's still 2 damage cards. So let's do 2 more. You just add them together and then subtract any armor on the part you're hitting. 2 more damage. So in total, that was pretty decent. That was 6 damage. Now that's the bow hunter's turnover. So we draw a time card, but let me just get these out of the way. I'll subtract the monster's health in a second. So we draw a time card and we do what it says. Brief respite. Flip your hunter token face down. I just did that. Discard 1 attack card from the rightmost slot of your stamina board. So in this case it would be the charge shot, because that's the rightmost card I used. Discard any number of attack cards from your hand you want. I'm going to hold on to what I have. Draw back up until you have 5 in your hand. You may discard 1 attack card from any slot on your stamina board. So I actually got a pretty nice card. I'm going to get rid of the... I'm going to get rid of the charge sidestep, which I presume means the 1 card left on the board slides up 1. It doesn't say that, but I'm going to assume. And then that is 1 turn for my hunter is over. That time card just gets discarded. So we've got another one. The Gunlance Hunter has to activate now, so give me a chance to think through what I want to do with him. So the second of 3 turns, Gunlance Hunter, he's doing his free move up there. My goal is to get him equidistant with the Bow Hunter, so if the Great Jagras attacks, he'll be attacked, not him. Unfortunately, the best range I've got is range 1. So because he backed up during his monster turn, I don't think I'm going to get the chance to do anything. I'm going to discard a quick reload. I'm going to put it face down on the board to move. I think you can move 2 because it's got that agility value of 2. I only really want to move 1 regardless. because that puts us equidistant. Although I can play 3 cards actually. You know what, I'm going to double check you can move the full value, not just 1, because if I can move 2, it puts me in attack range and I can still play 2 more cards. Alright, so on page 29 of the rulebook for the Hunter's turn, the sprint action is what this is called, because the walk is the free move you get. You may play attack cards face down from your hand onto your stamina board to move your Hunter additional nodes. It says nodes, it doesn't go into any more detail than that, so I presume it is related to the dodge value on the card. If that's wrong, well, I'll correct it going forwards. So 2 movement means I can get there, so we are actually in his face. I can play up to 2 more cards. I think I'm just going to go straight into a 1-2 full burst, and then that leaves me 2 cards in hand for defense. Let's see, the next monster attack is with its tail, so it's probably going to be AoE around it, range 1, so I don't really need to move. So yeah, we'll just do a rising slash then. Oh wait, no, can't. It's got to be part of a combo. In that case, I have to do a lateral thrust. Sure. Yeah. Oh, I can't do the big finisher I wanted, but that's okay. So I'll do a lateral thrust, which is just 1 damage. Before this attack card is resolved, your Hunter may move into an adjacent node that is the same distance away from the monster. So i.e., I could move to that square, you know. I don't need to though. I'm fairly certain that the bow hunter is going to be out of range. I can play 1 more card. I can't play full burst because it's got to be a 2 card combo, and face down cards don't count. So in that case, oh, it would help if I drew a damage card. I was forgetting, it does 1 damage. It did a whole 1 damage. Good job. And then we're going to play die overhead smash, which starts to do some break damage, which might be nice to test out that mechanic. I'd be hitting his head, which needs 4 break tokens, and I don't think the bow is going to be doing any help for that. The alternative is I could try and do more damage because it uses a shelling card. I'll do overhead smash. Yeah, I will do overhead smash. So I draw 1 damage card, then I'm allowed to move away 1, and it does 1 break. So that is 1 of these tokens down here. On the spot I'm hitting his front arc, so I'm smacking him in the face. 3 more of those and it will actually break and something will happen. I'm going to move away 1. He'll come after me, but I should still not get the bow guy hit. 1 damage card, 1 more damage, that's fine. And that's 3 cards. Oh, actually no, I don't think playing cards face down to sprint counts towards your total, but I don't want to play any of the other 2 I have. I want to hold on to them. So that's going to be his turn. The second of 3 we're allowed. And time card. Paratoad, oh dear. Flip your Hunter token face down. Yep, I can do that. I'm going to have to move it slightly. There we are. It's face down. Discard the rightmost attack card. That's the overhead smash cleared. Discard any number of attack cards from your hand and then draw back up to 5. I'm just going to draw back up because I'm happy with what I have. Then I have to roll a die to see if I paralyze myself or the Great Jagras. That can't be good. On a 1 to 3, place 1 paralyzed token. Oh, on the monster. Huh, that's weird. Usually lower is worse. So let's see if his threshold for paralysis is only 1 star. Yes, it is. So I believe that means he gets paralyzed. So I'll go look that up and see what it does. Alright, because he only has a 1-star resistance to paralysis, it does indeed proc immediately, and that means that the dodge value of whatever he's going to do is guaranteed to be 1 and it can't be changed in any way. AKA, it's really easy to dodge. So those damage cards have to go. Oh, this needs a lot of table space. So I'll put them over there. I'm still allowed to do 1 more hunter turn though. And we're going to go with the bow again, I think. Let me see here. But after this, the Great Jagras goes. We got really lucky that he didn't have anyone in range, to be honest. Oh, he does have a break card, actually. That's interesting. Well, he gets a free move, but I think I'm fine where I am. So we're going to use Power Coating. Draw 1 damage card and gain 1 break token for the next attack you play this turn, which inflicts damage. And then we'll play... Ooh. That could be risky, actually. You know what? I can play 3 cards. I've played 1. I will take advantage of the free move at this point. We'll play Charge Shot. So that's 2 damage cards. If we're within 1 node, which we are, you draw a 3rd. And because of Power Coating, we draw a 4th. So this is 4. It's mostly going to be 1s because we drew 2 of the 2s in this deck already. of the 4. Oh, there's another one. Okay. So that is 5 damage and 1 stun, hitting him in the face. So that's the second break token on the face, thanks to the power coin. And then we're allowed to play one more card. Don't think I've forgotten anything. We're going to do another charge sidestep, although it is immediately going to come off the board. But actually, I could play it face down to get 2 movement. Doesn't really matter. I just want to go back in the bush, hide in the bush. And that is going to be it. So that is 5 more damage. So that puts them from 42 down to 37. Let me just change that. 37 health remaining. We got very lucky with it failing to do its big attack. So we do have to draw a time card. I'm just moving these damage cards out of the way because they are all spent. I have to draw back up to 5 as well, but the card will say to do that, so let's read the card. Another brief respite. I did shuffle this. So flip your token face down, discard 1 attack card from your stamina board, and this will let me do another one. So I will take away 2 cards from the bow user stamina board. Take the rightmost one, and we'll take away the charge shot one. Why not? There. So that is, they've got 2 cards on their board. We draw back up to 5 cards, so I need 3. Ooh, Dragon Piercer, that's a big finisher. And then, a feint, but not the bad kind of feint. The feint as in pretending to attack. And a charge sidestep. So, now it is time for the Great Jagras to do something. Alright, let's see what Mick Jagger's doing. It's a tail-based attack, attacking the closest threat. Oh, his next card after this is going to attack the furthest threat. It's probably going to be a spit then, because that's what he does in the game. So he is doing a belly slam. It's another attack before move, so we actually got lucky again. So it's 1 node range, he's hitting no one. It would do 7 damage everywhere except the back. It comes down to dodge 1 because he's paralysed, but... Oh, sorry, didn't realise how reflective that was there. Then he moves 2 away. Only 1 hunter is allowed to activate though. He can only get 1 away, but he is back there. The tail is getting caught in the box a little bit, but he is technically supposed to be facing like that. Only 1 hunter is allowed to activate now, and they can only play 2 cards. So, what do we do about that? We still have a lot of 2 damage cards in the Gunlancer deck. The bow deck only has 1 left, so they're going to need to sharpen soon. Can only play 2 cards as well. You know what? I've got a good idea. So the Gunlance Hunter is going to go. Actually, I think he has to go because his token isn't flipped back down again, whereas the bow one is. But either way, I want to go with Gunlancer anyway. Move 1 for free. Can play 2 cards. I'm going to play a guard up. And that does +3 to my defense. And then it would also do something for elemental defense, but we'll worry about that if we need to. So that's 1 card played. And then I need to play another so that doesn't get discarded. Let's do a... Oh no, I don't have anything in range. I'm going to have to just place something down. I guess I'll just place a rising slash face down so that we move 1 more right into his business. But that's all he's doing, and then that card is going to get discarded because it's the rightmost card, although I guess I should draw the time card first in case it says not to do that. So let's check that now. Wiggly Litchi. This is the thing that gives you stamina in the game. Flip your hunter token face down, yup. Discard 1 attack card from the rightmost slot, yup. Discard any number of cards from your hand, yup. Draw attack cards until you have 5. Okay, I'll do that in a second. You may discard all attacks from your stamina board. Can I choose to discard all but 1 of them? It doesn't, I guess. So I'm going to discard everything except the guard up. So that stays on my board for now. And that means it's on the leftmost spot, which means it's going to stay there for a while. And that is a good thing, because I'm going to get smacked in the face in a second. Oh, actually, no, he's not, because it's attacking the furthest threat. So the bow user is still the one in danger. I'm drawing back up to 5 cards. Got a charge shell and another lateral thrust. But that is his turn over, so we're right back to Jagras. Let's just see what he's doing then. So that eye means, yeah, furthest. He's eyeing up the further threat. Belly charge. He's going to run towards them for 3, and then it's 1 damage from the 1 range from just the face. 3 difficulty to dodge for 7 damage. Okay. So he's eyeing up 1, 2. He doesn't care about the bush. He's going to push him. You have to go somewhere in his front arc. So there's fine. 7 damage, huh? The armor reduces it by 1 to 6. Is there anything else I could do to mitigate that? I need 3 dodge, huh? 3 dodge. I could get there. Yeah, you know what? We'll put 2 cards face down, so that's got dodge. Oh, sorry, forgot I was zoomed in. That's got dodge 2, so that's on the board, and then we'll discard a shot. And that's got 1, which means I've discarded enough. There's only 1 slot left on the board, but I've got a card that can deal with that. We pull back a little bit. So that means I've dodged with the 3, so we're allowed to move 3. You don't need to move, it just means you've dodged the attack. But we are going to move 1, 2, 3. And the Great Jagras, I think it ends its turn by turning to face its target again. I might not be right about that. But, give me a chance to think now. We're allowed to activate 2 hunters actually, so they can both get a turn, and they can both play 2 cards. I don't think I draw back up to 5 until after the hunter's turn, because it doesn't say to do that in the monster's turn, so that somewhat limits what the bow hunter can do. Alright, I am still going to go with the bow hunter, and we're going to start by playing Feint, as in F-E-I-N-T, not F-A-I-N-T. And if I remember rightly from the designer talking about this, cards where the line isn't there, you just play them. You don't put them on the board or anything like that, they're just played. I don't remember if they count towards your play limit for the turn or not. I guess we'll say that they do for now, and correct it going forward. So discard this card and any 2 attack cards from your stamina board. So we're going to get rid of the 2 that I put down for dodge, because they're no help, because they're face down, they don't count towards combos or anything like that. And that means we can still play 1 more card, if I want. And we're at range 3, there's 2 cards on the board that are face up, so I'm going to play Dragon Piercer. Range 3, I get pushed back 1, just like you do in the game, you get pushed back, although I'm at the edge of the table, so I don't think that happens. It does 3 damage cards and 1 break, and I'm hitting him in the face. And that leaves 1 card in hand, and his turn is over, pardon me. So that is 1 more break, 1 more break on the head, and it will actually shatter. 3 damage cards. Got ourselves 2, that's the last 2, so there can only be 1s. So that's 4 more damage though, that's pretty good. It was on 37, so it's down to 33. Like that. And time card. Threat Shift. Flip your hunter token face down, discard 1 attack from the rightmost part of your board, discard any number of cards in your hand and draw back up to 5. And then all players pass their hunter token to the player on the left. The facing of the hunter token in each player's hand should now match what it was before. So the Gunlance Hunter is now the less threat value. Still gets to activate though, because the tokens stay as what they were. Okay, that's not so bad. So draw back up to 5, which means I draw 4. Got ourselves another Feint card, that's perfect. Another shot, another arc shot, and another power coin. Interesting. And you know what, I'm just realising, if a power coin stays on your board because it didn't get cleared or whatnot, does the effect still apply to the next card placed adjacent to it? I'm actually not 100% sure about that. Oh yeah, the power coin does specify this turn, so you can't keep on abusing it, which makes perfect sense, honestly. So the Gunlance Hunter, I can't get into his front arc, really. We are just going to come down there on his left side then, because I wouldn't have minded breaking the face. But we can play 2 cards. 2 cards. We have 1 card on our bar already, it's the guard up. Let's just do... oh, actually... oh, if only I had a card that did break. I don't... oh, we could have broken the head. I'm going to play Lateral Thrust. So it's a 1 damage, but before the attack is resolved, I can move to an adjacent node the same distance away from the monster. So I'm going to move slightly, aka here, which puts me on the line. So I think I can choose where I'm hitting, but again, I don't have a break card, so it doesn't matter, sadly. Then, second card, we're going to go full burst. So that's 1 damage card, plus a stun token, and I flip 2 of the shells to do 2 more damage. So in total, that's a lot, but I just want to check Great Jagras' stun resistance. Because that is different to Paralyze. It's 2. Okay, I need to look out a token then, because he needs 1 more before he's affected by the stats effect. But I'm flipping 2 of these shelling tokens to that side, because they've been used. So in total, I am drawing 3 damage cards. And I'm choosing to hit the face, which has no armor. So that is 4 more damage, bringing him down to, he was at what, 33? So he's at 29. 29. There we go. Pretty good. Finding this pretty easy so far, but then again, this is meant to literally be the easiest threat in the box. Another tactical shift. I swear I shuffled these. I'm going to shuffle them again off camera. I don't like that we seem to be getting a lot of the same in a row. So that just means they swap threat values again. Draw back up to 5, discard your rightmost attack, which was the full burst. And... oh, actually no, this is slightly different. Up to 2 hunters may move 1 node each. Oh, I'm glad I read that, because it had the same name, so I assumed it did the same thing, but it doesn't. The bow hunter will move back here. The gun lancer will move back... yeah, move back here. I want them separated so that there's less chance they'll both get smacked. He's doing a head-based closest threat attack next. So yeah, we'll go with that. Alright, it's Great Jagras' time to shine. I was just looking, the bow deck has 1 damage card left, so they're going to have to take a turn to sharpen and whatnot. But anyway, Great Jagras is a head-based closest threat. Heavy bite, charging 2 and then range 1, 6 damage, 2 to dodge, and then only 1 hunter gets to activate afterwards. So he is going after Mr. Gunlance from that node, so 1, 2, he's going to shove him right back there, and then headbutt him. Or sorry, heavy bite him. 6 damage in total thanks to that guard up. Let me just see, is it only for 1 attack I get to use this? While this attack is face up on your stamina board, your elemental resistances are doubled. At the start of your at the start of your next turn you were supposed to discard it. I didn't read the end sentence. Whoops, in that case. Oh, at the end of your next turn. I played it. I haven't had a turn with him since he last... no, I just did. It shouldn't be there. Arg. Well, I didn't read the card and now I'm going to pay the price. Which means he's only blocking 2 in total. 1 from his gunlance, 1 from his trousers. That'll be 4 damage. That's half his health. What difficulty is it to dodge? Difficulty 2. I'm going to take the hit. I'll take the hit for 4 damage. So yeah, 6 damage reduced by 2. 4 damage puts him to 4 health. Ow! That was my own stupid fault for not reading the guard up card correctly. Okay, Great Jagras finally bit someone. Whatever. And I can go with either hunter now, I believe. I think both their tokens were face down. So I think at the point at which both tokens are face down, you then turn them face up, because then you can pick. So who do I want to go with though? I don't have any break cards, I don't have any stun cards. With the gun lancer, that is. That's the thing, using 2 hunters, I've got to look through the cards for both. And the bow hunter needs a turn to sharpen. Yeah, I think we'll take what's called, if we pull the camera over here to see the bow user. So when you play a hunter's turn, you can choose to either be active or, I don't think it's called inactive, I'm just looking it up real quick. And what that basically means is you take a turn to sharpen and whatnot. Page 28 onwards. Let's see here. Yeah, you can either take a combat turn or a preparation turn. You can use potions, you can sharpen, you can walk, you can sprint. So the bow hunter will walk and will sharpen. Once during your turn, you may shuffle your discarded damage cards into your damage deck. And to end your turn, draw a time card, so you're still going to get to clear 1 card from your board as well. Potions fully clear your board, for the record. But all those spent damage cards, I'm going to shuffle them back into the 1 card she had left. And that means she's back to having 4 cards that do 2 damage, which is nice. Does mean her turn is wasted though. So we'll call that good as far as shuffling goes. And rightmost card goes away. Well, I shouldn't presume. Let's draw the time card and see. And the heavy bite is resolved. We'll go a bit faster now, I think. The monster retreats. Flip your hunter token face down, discard 1 card from your rightmost slot, discard any number of attack cards, draw back up to 5. Discard 4 time cards. Each hunter may sharpen their weapon and use a potion from the communal pool. Oh, that is a lot of time cards. We discard 4 of them without resolving them. 1, 2, 3, 4. There we go. Get a free sharpen, so I'm going to shuffle the damage cards back into the Gunlands deck. If I'd known that card was coming, obviously I would have had a proper turn, but I didn't, so that sucks timing wise. What else? We could use a potion. We have 2. I think I'll hold off on using the potions because I don't think they replenish up to 2 between hunts. So I'd rather hold off, although it is a free use. No, I'm not going to use a potion. We're going to wait. We have 3 cards still, it's fine. You don't get bonuses for not carting. It's okay. So we're back round to Great Jagras. So Great Jagras' next card, it looks like body-based, closest threat, so it is on the Gunlancer. In the video game, for the record, you do absolutely get some penalties for carting. Roll body left. So it's going to move to its left, and if you do this, the monster always turns to face its target for every movement, so it's sliding around him. Then at range 2, on every arc except its right arc, so if the bow user was here, even if it was right next to it, it would still be fine. It's going to do 7 damage with stun. Difficulty 3 to dodge. This is one I need to dodge, unfortunately. Well, let's dump a quick reload for 2. So that's going for 2, face down. And what will we get rid of? Let's get rid of... I want that break. I've got a break card. We'll get rid of a Rising Slash, so that covers the 3. So I can move up to 3. I don't want to move, I just want to dodge the attack. And that means that we don't apply the status effect, we don't apply the damage. I've managed to roll out the way, essentially. So that's it, and now we can activate... Where's the card? Belly roll. We can activate 2 hunters that can play 2 cards each. Okay, in that case, we'll go with the Gunlancer. And let's play... Sure. We'll do Wavering State Cannon. So it's going to use 1 more of the shelling cards. That means there's 2 left that aren't flipped down. So I'll do that now. Flip that over. So in total we're drawing 2 damage cards. And we're applying a break to his face. Oh good, there's a 2. There's a 1. So when you actually fully break a section, you use this token instead, a big red one. And that means we're going to get extra rewards when the quest is over. And it says, behaviors with water damage inflict physical damage instead of elemental damage. We didn't draw any that did water damage, but since we have no defense against that, and I think it goes straight through armor, that's a good thing. So that was 3 damage. He's down to 26, almost half health. Not too shabby, I guess. And we can still play 1 more card. And I'm gonna... Do I want to go in on good damage, or do I want to go in on kind of backing up a little bit? Oh, never mind, I can't play Charge Shell because I can't play if I played another attack card. We will play Lunging Upthrust. I could move 1 towards the monster, no good there. 1 damage card, draw 1 plus 1 damage card if this is the first attack card. No, so it's just 1 damage unfortunately. So that is an extra singular point of damage, taking the Great Jagras to exactly half health. 1 card left in hand, and the time card will tell us to draw back up to 5, I'm sure. Threat shift again, so you do all the usual stuff, and then all players pass their token. Okay, so that's just shifting the token again. So we'll do that in a second, although his stays flipped down. He's back to being the higher threat value though. And the bow user has to activate in a second. Let me just draw back up to 5. If you ever run out of cards to draw, by the way, you just shuffle them for free. Oh, we've got a full burst and another guard up. I'm going to have to try and remember to use guard up correctly. I wish I could have put it on the board this turn, but oh well. So we discard the rightmost card as well, so that goes away, so we have 1 space. Not great. If he gets attacked, he is in for a world of hurt. But the next monster card is definitely attacking the furthest target, so we know he's relatively safe for now. As we go to the bow user's turn, I didn't realise, I forgot about the Great Jagras' passive called Gluttonous. If he deals 1 or more damage to a hunter, he heals 1. So he is actually at 26 still. So that's just correct, he's only landed 1 hit. So the bow user, let's see, we can play 2 cards. And we're at range 1, 2, 3. Well, we have our free movement actually, so let's use that to move into the bush. None of that's going to make a difference. We're still furthest target, so it's still going to go after us. But that's okay. And we can play 2 cards. Let's go for... let's go for... what's the best damage here? Power Coating to give us extra damage to the next attack we're doing. And just a basic shot, I think. Yeah, just a basic shot, range 2. So normally 1 card, he is attacking the right side of him, so that's going to be 1 break on the claws. The claws don't have armor either. And that's 2 damage cards. 1 and 1. That's okay. Now I don't think I'm allowed to play the feint card even though it doesn't go on the board. I feel like I remember it being said you can play those whenever and they don't count towards your turn, but I don't remember fully and it's not explained in the rulebook well. So I'm not 100% sure whether that would be cheating or not. I really want to play the feint card to clear some of the board, but I won't, just in case. So that was 2 damage anyway, so that's him down to 24. And we draw a time card and see what happens. And Nitro Toad, he's going to explode. So you do all the usual stuff, flip your token, discard the rightmost card, draw back up to 5, etc, etc. Let's do that, there we go. Then though you have to roll a die, and it seems is lower better again? Yeah, it is. Well, that's a bust then. On a 4 to 6, your hunter suffers blast. I'm going to have to look up what blast does. Well, blast blight on a hunter is lovely. The bow hunter is now -2 armor until the end of its next turn, which means armor 0 for now. That's okay. I did forget to do one thing I should have done in its turn, so I'm going to apply that now and use its once per game Palico ability, the Vigor Wasp Spray. You pick a hunter within 2 nodes of you and heal them to full. So I'm using that up, and I'm removing the Palico token to remind myself I've done it, and that puts the Gunlance Hunter back to 8. So the Gunlance Hunter on that note still has his Palico, and it's just straight up raw damage, so I should really do that his next turn. But anyway, Great Jagras attacking the Bow Hunter, because it's the furthest threat. Spitting up on him at range 4. Now, because we broke the head, this is not water damage, but this would normally be water damage. That's what those blue markers denote there. So range 4, so definitely hits him, and then moves back away from his target 2. So it's going to be 1 to get him to the edge of the table there. That's 5 damage, and it's 4 difficulty to dodge. He's going to take the 5 damage, unfortunately. So he has 3 health left. Just took a wad of spit to the face. At least it was, well, I was going to say at least it wasn't water element. Essentially it is, because it would have done the same thing. It's just if he had armor, his armor would have reduced it thanks to breaking the head, but nope. So I have 2 activations and 3 cards can be played. And both hunters have their tokens flipped down, so I think you flip them up now and then I get to choose who I go with. Give me a second to plan out a turn. We need to do a lot of damage now, I think. Alright, I think I'm going to go with the bow hunter, but I was just looking in the rulebook again and I found where it specifies about the cards that don't have the stamina bar and whatnot. It's on the no stamina section on page 29. These attacks don't use stamina, are not placed on the board. Discard these cards after resolving the effect. These cards don't count towards the maximum allowed for the monster behaviour. That is important information. That would have helped out in a previous turn, but at least I know now I should learn to read. In that case, we'll play a feint from the bow hunter's hand. It does not count towards his limit, and it clears his board, which is what I wanted. So he's working with a clean slate now. He is going to move forwards 1, which puts him within range 2 of the Great Jagras, and he can play 3 cards. So, what's the best way to deal damage to this? If I can get within 1, I'd be able to do even more, but I don't think that's worth the move, to be honest. Yeah, we're just going to unload on him, honestly. So, we're going to go Arc Shot, first card played, Shot, second card played, and then third card, Charge Shot. Don't get the bonus because we're not within 1, That's fine. That means in total we're drawing 4 cards against him. Eat this in your face. Let's see another 2, come on. Oh, nice. So that is 6 damage right there. So he's down, let's see, 4, he's down to 18. Nice. 18, 1 card in hand. That's, I think he's still got 1-2 left in the deck now. Let's draw the time card. Rampage, that can't be good. So you do all the usual stuff first. So let me just, again, come back round. Discard rightmost card. I'll draw up to 5 in a second. During the monster's next turn, its behavior card has 0. It's essentially a 0 for the icon for how many hunter turns I get. Oh wait, did I have another turn first? I do. Oh, so it applies next time the monster activates. So it gets 2 turns in a row, is what that means. I'm not going to put that discarded then, I'm going to put that next to the monster, so I remember. So the next time the Great Jagras activates, he goes twice. That is terrible news. Alright, I think I have a clever idea to rob the Great Jagras of 1 turn, but it still keeps the Gunlance Hunter in great danger. I'm going to do it though, because I think it's funny. So we're going to move forward to 1, or for 1 for free. He only has 1 space on his board, so I can play 1 card, technically. And I'm going to play Full Burst. So there is 2 face-up cards on his board. It's face up, face down, face down, face up. So it counts as far as I can tell. So I flip his last 2 shelling over, which means we're drawing a total of 3 damage cards, and it applies the second dose of stun. And I think that robs the monster of an action. I'll double check between takes, but if it does, that means we only need to do 1 card. But for now, we draw a total of 3. There's a 2, a 1, and the 2, and he's hitting them in the face again, so again armor doesn't apply. So that is 5 more damage. So he's down to 13 health. We're getting there. It's the final stretch. I can't play any more cards. I've done my free move. Is there any I want to discard? No, I think I'm fine as is. So I'll check what stun does in a second. Let's do the time card first though. Sleep Toad, we're getting all the toads. So usual stuff first. Discard rightmost card. Discard anything from your hand that you want to discard. Draw back up to 5. And then roll a die. We're looking for a low number. That might be good. Yes, place 1 sleep token on the monster's physiology card. What is the sleep resistance of a Great Jagras? 1. So he is also asleep as well as stunned. So now I'm going to have to double check what happens when a monster has 2 status effects. Alright, so for stun, the dodge value of the next monster attack is reduced by 1. So it was the same as paralysis. Actually, you know what? I think I accidentally read the description for stun when he was paralyzed. The paralysis one should have been movement 0. Whoops. Well, either way, the sleep takes priority, I think, and they both just resolve. Only resolve the hunter turn and hunter attack symbols on the next monster behavior card, but unfortunately we ignore those because of the rampage card. But for the record, it would have been 2 turns, 2 cards, and that's the he would have rolled to the right, but we just discard that. Rampage resolves. Whoops, I knocked the bush out of the way. Rampage resolves. We count it as 0, and then it rolls right back around to Great Jagras, and he's going after the furthest threat. So he's going after the Bull Hunter, which is not good because they're on 3 health. Let's see what he's doing. Forward swing. He's charging at them 3. So 1, 2, and then 3. Push him all the way down there. I'll have to come over here. Pardon me. There we go. So he pushes them for 3, it's range 1, he's only attacking from the front, but it does 6 damage, 2 to dodge, and then only 1 hunter's getting a turn afterwards. Oof. Well, needs to dodge it or he'll die. But we only need to find 2 dodge. None of the cards have 2, annoyingly. So that means we're going to have to discard 2 in order to do it. Discard a power coating and a shot onto the board in order to survive. That means he can move 2, right? Let's just go 1, 2 to get a little bit further away, and that is good as he's going to get. He's not in a good place. I did forget again, I meant to use the other Palico ability after the Gunlancer's turn to really pile on the damage. It's called Wrath of Meow. In the video game, the Wrath of Meow is like a tank, if I remember rightly, it's the cat tank. So the way it would have worked, and I'm just going to do it because I can do it now as well. If the monster is within 3 nodes of your hunter, draw 3 damage cards as if you were resolving an attack. So I'm going to do that now. It's from the Gun Lancer's deck, not the Bow User's deck. I think he still has a 2 in here. No, he didn't draw it, but that is 3 more damage. So the Jagras has 10 health left. And everything else happened as is. That's all the Palico abilities gone. Until another hunt. So I'm allowed to activate one hunter. Give me a second to think who's the best bet here. We just need to kill him. Alright, it's a little lame, but I'm going to go with the bow hunter. They're just going to take a rest turn. They're going to sharpen and they're going to use a potion. I don't see any other way out of it, so I am... oh, wrong deck. I'm shuffling back in their cards because they've used up most of their 2 damage ones anyway. Now when you use a potion, you heal to full, you clear your stamina board, but you can't do anything else. You still draw a time card as well. So I'll do that in a second. Let's just get these cards off of here. They're discarded. And health back up to 8. We are allowed to move 1 for free. The Great Jagras is going after furthest threat next, so I'm actually going to move right up to him so that the Gun Lancer takes the hit. And we draw a time card. Another Sleep Toad. Was that 2 after one another? I swear I shuffled these. They are shuffled. I looked at a few at the bottom. They are shuffled. Well, okay. Sleep Toad again. We just go straight to the roll. It affects the Jagras, and they only have 1 resistance to it. As far as I'm aware, they don't build resistance like they do in the video game. So it doesn't even resolve its attack. Now we're only allowed to do 1 there anyway. So we just draw the card. We only go by how many people can activate. It would have been a front claw smash, but we get to activate 2 hunters. Has to be the Gun Lancer first though. Playing 2 cards. And unfortunately I think he needs to take a rest turn as well. Because his board is full, that's the problem. I don't have any cards to get rid of anything. Well, either way we have to go with them. The Great Jagras is attacking closest threat next. He'll move in, so at least he is there. I can't even play the guard up because then it'll just get removed. I don't have a quick reload either, so I can't reload the gun. I guess he'll take a rest turn as well and use the other potion. I really hope you get the 2 base potions back, otherwise I'm screwing myself going forwards, but he'll sharpen and clear his board by using the potion. He doesn't need to heal. He will in a second, I'm sure, but not right now. So his board is cleared at least, so I can do attacks next turn. That means we get to shuffle his damage. How many damage cards did he even have left? They only had 3, so honestly it was the right time. Just shuffling his damage deck real quick. But he's not playing any cards, we just draw his time card. Boom. It's another tactical shift. Which one is it? Up to 2 hunters may move 1 node. He's attacking closest next, so let's move the bow user back and the Gun Lancer around there. Hopefully to make him face that way. Other than that, it's all the usual stuff. And then we have to go with the bow user, who has a clean board but only 3 cards in hand, and we can play 2 of them. So, I can move 1. Gun Lancer's still closest, yep. So we'll play a shot, which is just 1 damage draw, and then we'll play a... Actually, what's the best bet here? We're not hitting a side that has armor. No, I'll actually play power coating first, then the shot. So it's 2 damage cards and 1 break on his claws. I doubt we're going to break the claws before he dies, but whatever. That's break number 2, or break marker number 2. And more importantly, 1 extra card draw for damage, so it's 2. Swing and a miss. He's down to 8. That's okay though. Down to 8. Oh, didn't he hit a hunter again and I forgot to heal him for 1? I think I did. I'm actually going to say he's at 9. Hopefully that won't matter. So that is the bow user's turn. The time card. Suspended boulder. So it's all the usual stuff first. Discard the rightmost card. We'll draw back up to 5 in a second. Roll a die. Oh. Actually, if we get a 1 to 3, this is really good. Nice. On a 1 to 3, the monster suffers 5 damage. The monster has 4 health left. There is a section in the ancient forest where you can make a huge boulder fall on the monster that you're hunting. That's a reference to that. Alright, that was actually pretty good. And as a big truck goes past the window, we'll take a break there before we see what the Great Jagras does, but we know he's attacking. Closest threat. Alright, Great Jagras is limping around, he's doing a head-based attack. Closest threat, he's moving towards them too and hitting them for a casual 7 damage. Turns to face his target, pushes for 1, pushes for 2, all the way into the corner. And that is 7 damage. It's difficulty 2 to dodge, but thanks to now being full health, he's just gonna take it. His gun lance reduces the damage taken by 1, his leggings do the same, so it's actually 5 damage. So he's on 3 health. I'm hoping to kill him in their next turn, but only one of them gets to activate and play 2 cards, so not necessarily. I can choose which one does though. Who's more likely to get the job done? He doesn't have any shells left, that's the problem. At most he could play... He could draw 3 damage cards. That could kill him, it could. The bow user, with 2 cards to play... Oh, he could do a Dragon Piercer. And that's range 3. Yeah, I think the bow user can kill him. There is a possibility the gun lance user can, but I think it's guaranteed with the bow user. So, move forward for 1, that puts us 2 away. We can play 2 cards, doesn't really matter which one we play first, as long as we play something. Oh, actually it does matter. Arc Shot, range 2, 1 damage. So there's 2, so that puts him at 3, and then we're playing Dragon Piercer. Pushes us away for 1, we draw 3 damage cards, it would do 1 break on his tail. Well actually I'm hitting his tail, so it's damage reduced by 1, so that's only done 1 damage. Because yeah, we're seeing his back arc, so this does matter now. 3 cards though. This is a separate attack, so you add these together. So essentially that does 4, and that did 1. So we did do the 5, or we did 5 and he had 4 health left. So that is the Great Jagras defeated. We used both potions, but didn't faint once. Alright, my 2 hunters were successful, and whether you're successful or not in a hunt, you then go to the HQ phase. You do recovery phase first, discard all attack cards in your hand and stamina board, shuffle them, discard your damage cards, return your hunter's health to full. If you failed the quest, go to new equipment. If you pass the test, go to roll for reward, we'll do that in a second. Shuffle discarded elemental damage cards back to the elemental damage deck. So this is where you would look at these forge cards to see, once you know what monster bits you've got plus the ore you found on the way, can you craft any armor and or weapons, but I'll do that off camera between videos. Reward table though, let's see. Breaking parts of a monster will grant you a number of additional rewards. When resolving the reward tables, each group member gains 1 of the break rewards for the monster parts broken in the quest. So, Great Jagras' head was broken, nothing else sadly, we were 1 away from breaking the claws. That's okay though. So we just pulled the physiology card over here, you flip it over, and you've got yourself a drop table. So because we broke his face, let's see here. They both got a Great Jagras mane for breaking his face, but that's not all we get. We get that regardless of if you fail a quest as well, I believe. Well, at least in the video game you get what you break. The reward table is located on the reverse side of the physiology card. Yep. Each group member rolls a number of dice as shown below. Check your results against the monster reward table to determine the resources. So the number of hunters, and this was an assigned quest, means they get 3 dice each. You can either combine the results to get a better guaranteed reward, or keep them separate to get more, but not necessarily better stuff. I don't see anything about replenishing potions incidentally, so I feel like I might have screwed myself going forward if you don't get 2 potions for free at the top of every hunt. But either way, I want time to think about what I'm going to pick, but I'm going to show the results and take a note of the results, and then next time I'll tell you how I used them. Gunlance Hunter. Got a 3 and 2 4s. So I'm just going to write that down real quick. 3, 4, 4. And then which would, if I took them separately, would be 2 scales and a hide, but again I could combine them and maybe get an 8, which would be a claw for instance. The bow user is a 136. 136 for bow. So they get the guaranteed thing for breaking the head, and that is going to do it off camera. I will decide what to craft, If you make a new weapon, you get a different damage deck that might have better, like more 2s, for instance, or a 3 or a 4. Better armor obviously has elemental and physical defense. Sometimes special rules if you have the whole set. But that's the general flow of Monster Hunter World, the board game. Do let me know. Do you want me to skip the adventure part? Just go straight to the hunt next time? Do you want me to include everything like I did today? By all means, point out anything I did wrong. And I hope you enjoyed, above all else. If you want to check out the video game, I have copious amounts of videos about every Monster Hunter game on my video gaming channel. Just keep in mind that's not family friendly. Thank you for watching though. Do let me know what you thought of the game, and hopefully see you next time. It's time for now.